Hi, it's Patrick Hutzel from IntensiveCareHotline.com, where we instantly improve the lives of families of critically ill patients in intensive care, so that you can have peace of mind, real power, real control, and so that you can influence decision making fast, even if you're not a doctor or a nurse in intensive care. This is another episode of Your Questions Answered, and in last week's episode I answered another question from one of our readers, and the question last week was part 10 of My Auntie is in intensive care on Ecmo for ARDS. We're very worried she may die. Help, part 10. You can check out the answer to last week's question by clicking on the link below this video. In this week's episode of Your Questions Answered, I want to answer another question from one of our readers, and the question this week is part 11 of My Auntie is in intensive care on Ecmo for ARDS. We're very worried she may die. Help, part 11. Today, Angie, the mother of Lee, who wrote in previously, has written in about her sister's progress. During the time of the consultation, I was interacting with both Lee and Angie, who's Lee's mother. Lee was the first person to make contact about his auntie being in intensive care, and as the consultation progressed, I was interacting with both Angie and Lee. Today also concludes this series of questions with Angie and Lee, and you can go back to all parts of this question by clicking on the links below this video. So today, Angie from the UK writes, "Hi Patrick, I hope you're well. My sister has improved a lot since I last wrote to you. She's doing great on this weaning plan. She managed to walk around the room with the Zimmer frame and without being attached to the ventilator. Today the nurse informed me that the plan is for my sister to have the cuff down during the day and to rest during the night. The settings on the ventilator are EPAP and IPAP 20 and 6. She's still bringing up a lot of secretions, but they are now clear. I'm told that she has a really good strong cough. She has failed 3 swallowing tests, so is still being fed through the tube. She remains in isolation still due to the MRSA, but is no longer on any antibiotics. The intensive care consultant and the nurses are pleased with her progress. However, the dilemma is her mental health. Her own psychiatrists wanted her to start back on her medication, which is clozapine, but the consultant at the intensive care has refused and said it's dangerous, which confirms what us as a family agree with. So she has been prescribed olanzapine, and we're waiting for these to start working. My sister was introduced to a doctor on one of the wards who told her that she will be spending some time on the chest ward when she's ready to leave the intensive care unit, which I was happy about, because to me this is the very first time anybody has actually mentioned the future. I would be happy to do an interview with you after all the help and support you have given us. Possible once my sister is off the intensive care unit. I will keep you updated. Take care. And hi Angie, thank you for the update. It's great to hear that your sister is progressing well. It's so important to be future oriented, especially since intensive care is an environment where people are often living in the present, because things in RCU can be so unpredictable. As you and your family know by now, intensive care can be a very volatile environment. As far as your sister's progress goes, even though it sounds like she's progressing well, always keep in mind where she came from, and in your sister's case, she was on Ecmo and she was gravely ill. Therefore, the steps she has taken are quite remarkable, and it shows the resilience your sister has. As you know by now, things don't happen fast in intensive care, but given that your sister is walking and has time off the ventilator, you know the progress she has made. As far as her ventilator settings go, she's now on less support, but IPAP 20 and 6 is still a fair bit, and failing swallowing tests is a sign that she's probably not quite there yet to have the ventilator and the tracheostomy removed completely. But having time off the ventilator during the day and back on at night is a good sign, and it shows that she's moving in the right direction. I'm a little wary of your sister still being isolated for MRSA. Many intensive care units nowadays have moved away from isolating MRSA patients as long as staff and visitors obviously adhere to doing proper hand hygiene and wearing gloves and gowns. There shouldn't be a need for your sister to be isolated. Often isolation rooms are dark with no natural daylight, and they literally can feel isolating. So see what you can negotiate and find out whether there is another option. Also, have they started to take your sister outside at least on some occasions? Get them to take your sister outside in a wheelchair or on her bed and get her some natural daylight. It'll do wonders for her. Also make sure that she'll get regular showers. Again, it'll do wonders. And things like getting outside and having regular showers are better than any magic pill. I can't really comment on how your sister's mental illness should be treated. However, it sounds like it's the right thing to do, and to get a psychiatrist involved after intensive care. Try and stay involved there if you think it's the right thing to do. You and your family know your sister best. Overall, your sister's situation very much reminds me of some Ecmo patients that I have looked after over the years. 2 steps forward and 1 step back. I'm not suggesting that this should be happening with your sister, but it may well happen, so be prepared. I would love to do an interview when you're ready. I understand that now your focus and your priority is on your sister and her well-being. You also need to look after yourself, although I know you and your family have shown massive strength and resilience. No matter the outcome, you will come out of this a lot stronger, and you will have learned some valuable life lessons out of this situation. Let me know when you are ready and we can schedule an interview. In the meantime, please let me know if you have any other questions. Take care. So, how can you have peace of mind, control, power and influence whilst your loved one is critically ill in intensive care? You get to that all-important feeling of peace of mind, control, power and influence when you download your free Instant Impact Report now by entering your email below. In your free Instant Impact Report, you learn quickly how to get peace of mind, real power and real control, and how you can influence decision making fast whilst your loved one is critically ill in intensive care. Your free Instant Impact Report gives you in-depth insight that you must know whilst your loved one is critically ill or is even dying in intensive care. Sign up and download your free Instant Impact Report now by entering your email below. In your free Instant Impact Report, you learn how to speak the secret intensive care language so that the doctors and the nurses know straight away that you are an insider and that you know and understand what's really happening in intensive care. In your free report, you will also discover how to ask the doctors and the nurses the right questions. Discover the many competing interests in intensive care and how your critically ill loved one's treatment may depend on those competing interests. How to eliminate fear, frustration, stress, struggle and vulnerability even if your loved one is dying. 5 mind-blowing tips and strategies helping you to get on the right path to peace of mind, control, power and influence in your situation. You'll get real-world examples that you can easily adapt to your and your critically ill loved one's situation. How to stop being intimidated by the intensive care team and how you will be seen as equals. You'll get crucial behind-the-scenes insights so that you know and understand what's really happening in intensive care. And how you need to manage doctors and nurses in intensive care, and it's not what you think. Thank you for tuning into this week's Your Questions Answered, and I'll see you again in another update next week. Make sure you also check out our blog section for more tips and strategies, or send me an email to support@intensivecarehotline.com with your questions. Also check out our product section where you get more ebooks, videos and audio recordings, and where you can also get one-on-one consulting via Skype or over the phone with me. This is Patrick Hutzel from intensivecarehotline.com, and I'll see you again next week in another update.